is in your hands. That is very true. And we have the famous quote, which I know some of you have heard. I am the master of my fate, and I am the captain of my soul. That's a very common quote which you have heard many times. I am the master of my fate, and I am the captain of my soul. That is amazing. This was from the poem Invictus. It summarizes why your destiny, no matter how people will try to put you down. People can put obstacles on your way. Circumstances, nature can be against you. Just know that your destiny is in your hands. And as Steve Jobs said, that in all, at the end of your life, you will only connect the dots backwards. You will never connect dots forward. That is when he came to the realization during the end of his life that all of the circumstances, the bad and the good one, which occurred to him, were all connecting to a future. You can only connect these dots backwards. And that's why in the history, Invictus was inspired and written in 1875 and published in 1888. This was an era of, which they call Victorian era, when people had high ideals and they wanted to do great things, that they would fight adversity to become successful. Now, at this time, Henry, Ernest Henry, who wrote this poem, at the age of 16, his left leg was amputated due to the complication arising from tuberculosis. And in 1870, he faced a similar problem with his other leg. So he was supposed to be amputated and remain legless. He faced this problem. But in 1873, he got a surgeon called Joseph Kister who saved his remaining leg. After recovering from this ailment, he wrote the first that became the poem of Invictus. He was fighting destiny then, because destiny was that he was to remain legless, but Invictus, Henry fought and they wrote this famous poem called Invictus. You never come across that is the poem Invictus, where it says, out of the night that covers me, black as a beat from purple, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fair grudge of circumstances, I have not winced nor cried aloud under the burgeoning of chance. My head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall be. Find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate and the captain of my soul. What an inspiring person talking. That's last stanza saying, it matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishment the scroll. That says it does not matter whether you were born in riches. It does not matter whether you were born in poverty. You are charged to be the master of your fate that you are the only one who will work and change your fate. And then you will later come to connect the dots backwards. At times, many people are born in riches, and then during their lifetime, they live in poverty. Sometimes riches can be too comforting. If you are not careful, it can if you don't work on your destiny, it will work on your destiny yourself. You know, there are two very good examples I find from the Bible, which the stories connect backwards. There are two women in the Bible, Tamar and Ruth. They are connected in a very, very unique way that sometimes you wonder how destiny works. In the book of Ruth, at the end of the chapter, there is a very interesting passage there talking about the line of David, the lineage of King David. It says, then Naomi took the child and laid him in her lap and became the nurse. The neighbor woman gave him a name, saying, a son has been born to Naomi, so they named him Obed. He is the father of Jesse, the father of David. Quite very interesting. Why did the neighbor woman name this person Obed? As you know, the story of Naomi is very interesting in the Bible. He had two sons and a husband, lost the two sons and the husband. All of them. During that time, losing more especially male children was something bad. He was left with the two young widows, and they told him, now I'm young, I will want you to go to your home and get married. Because I'm not going to bear any son, my husband is dead, I'm not going to bear a son, who would marry you? So two ladies, Orpha and Ruth. Orpha went back to her parents, but Ruth said, no, I will stay with you. Your people will be my people, your God will be my God. I will die wherever you die. Quite amazing. And they followed the old Naomi to her ancestral home. And that is how he went. He knew there was no hope. But then finally he got a closest relative of Naomi who married her, and his name was Boaz. And they bore a son called Obed. Obed, who became the father of Jesse. Jesse became the father of King David. Now, if Ruth had left everything to destiny, could we have bought Obed? No, he couldn't have gotten Obed, because if he had followed the other advice, what happened? Did we hear about Orpha? No. So Ruth became a great person, because in that line, he was the great grandmother of King David, who ruled Israel. That is quite interesting. But also, if you continue reading down, then it even becomes more interesting. Now these are the generations of Perez. Perez was born, to Perez was born Hezron, and to Hezron was born Ram. And to Ram, Aminadab, and to Aminadab was born Nahshon, and to Nahshon was born Salmon, and to Salmon was born Boaz. see? And Boaz was Obed, and to Obed was born Jesse, and to Jesse was born David. What an interesting thing that they are bringing about this man, Perez. Who is this Perez? Quite interesting. Perez was a son born to Tamar. Tamar was married to Er, who was the son of Judah. Er died young and left Tamar a young widow without a child. And as per the customs, Tamar was married to Er's brother, Onan. Onan died before Tamar got a child. And now his father-in-law told her, you will have to go to your people until my young son grows up to marry you. And she obeyed. Then what happened? It was funny that when the boy grew up, the father did not want her to marry him to marry this woman. Probably what was going on in the mind of Judah, this must be a woman with bad omen. He married my first son, died. He married my second son, also died. So probably he thought if he's going to marry the third son, he's going to die too in the same way. So what did he do? He ignored it. And as a custom, maybe, we never know. Maybe Tamar tried to ask the father, but the father refused. So he was desperate, young woman, wanted to get children, but now his hopes were dashed. So he ended up tricking his father-in-law. He pretended to be a prostitute, and they slept with her father-in-law Judah, without Judah knowing. Then when they realized that she was pregnant, they said, okay, according to the customs, if a woman does like that, they asked his father-in-law, what do we have to do? According to the custom, she needs to be stoned to death. So they had to wait until she bore the children before they would stone her. She bore twins. And then she was supposed to be stoned. So they had arranged a day, they are going to stone this woman because she had done an abomination according to the laws and customs of Israel. So in the previous night, before she could be stoned, she sent somebody a message. Whoever is the owner of these things, the seed and the walking stick, is the father of these children. They brought it to Judah, and the Judah realized that it's the same woman they had slept with, and they had left these things with this woman. So she wasn't stoned. So it was the circumstances. She was following her fate, and that's what she did. If she could have languished there and cried, oh, that is probably my destiny, things were like that, she tried. And one of the twins was Perez, who was a great ancestor of Israel's greatest king, David. And if you follow that line, that's where the Messiah came from. So, you have to understand that you are the master of your fate and the captain of your soul. You will determine your fate, where you are going. Like the captain directs the ship, the directions it's going, so is your soul. What you feed your soul is what the soul gets out. So all your destiny, and this is one of the areas that many people have failed. You talk about predestination. Many people will say, oh, I'm not that smart, my genes, I I never had the capability of being smart in school. No, you can work your way out. Your fate is in your hand. Have you ever seen people who are very smart geniuses and still they live a miserable life? You don't have to be expert in anything. Only find your voice and work on it. That is what wants you to do. You do not have to wait for people. People will put roadblocks on your way. People will want to bring you down. If they put obstacles on your way, pass over them, jump over them. When people throw stones at you, build a staircase and you will go through the wall. When people insult you, when people try to frustrate you in anything, never lose your temper. Keep the faith. And you will have your destiny on your way. And after the end, you will connect your God's purpose. You don't sit there and say, oh, it is because of this, because I was born in a poor family. No. Rise up and fight for your way out. Nobody is going to give your destiny. Your destiny is within you. You can decide today that you are going to change your destiny and you will change it. It doesn't matter your past. You may have carried a lot of baggage in your past. Yes, we do carry. Leave the past where it is. Leave it behind. If you have to, you want to travel far, travel light, and to travel light, you have to eliminate some of these many baggages you are carrying. Envy, people who wronged you, all of those things will be bringing you down for you to follow your destiny. It's within you. If you make a decision today, that no matter what, nothing is going to stop me from following my destiny, you will be able to reach your destiny and you will be happy of what you have done for yourself. That's exactly what I will tell you, that at the end, that's when you have grabbed that, said you are a master of your fate and a captain